Okay.
How are we looking?
Let's see. So far, 0 drop frames, so.
Cool.
Cool.
Magmapeach is ready to go.
Okay. Let me get everything ready to restream that. I was just trying to get the stream back up.
Yep. All right, everybody, welcome back. Thank you for your patience. This is JRTA4. It's the 4th edition, and we are raising money for 4 fantastic Japanese runners to get to AGDQ. We have the awesome Poir and Yamayu combo, who just finished their Yoshi's Island race not too long ago. And we also have the awesome pairing of Shoka and Zaraki, who will be doing a Rockman 2 as part of the Mega Man 1 through 3 relay. So we've done a great job so far. We're back to we're at almost $4,200 raised out of $7,500. So we're over halfway there, which is fantastic in 12 hours. We've only been live for 12 hours, so it's pretty sick that we've raised that much money. But we are not done yet. We still have a little bit over $3,000 to go. So we really appreciate your support, all your donations. Even if you can't donate, we appreciate you spreading the word, just hanging out in chat, watching the runs, hosting us, tweeting us, using the hashtag JRTA4. So yeah, and your support means the world to us. And let's see if we can hit that $7,500 goal. And we will have a cave story coming up very shortly by magmapeach. I'm just kind of highlighting some of the upcoming runs. After Cave Story will be a Rabby Ribby race between Hakua and WSBSN, another Japanese runner, so that's pretty cool. And then after that will be Mega Man 8 Bid War between Saturn or PS1 version. Right now the Saturn version is in the lead at $121 and $125. And the PS1 version is a little bit behind at $41, but it's not too late to get your money into that if you want to. And after that will be Dust Force DX. SS all levels. One of my favorite speed games, by the way. Dust Force and categories too. SS all levels is absolutely insane category, so you should definitely tune in for that run.
Okay, I think we're ready. Looks like it's working much better now, so.
Alright, you want me to move him in?
Yeah, go on, move him in.
Alright. Welcome, Magma.
Hello.
How's it going?
All right, I guess. A little tired, but I'll survive.
It's fair enough. So let us know when you're ready, Hexman.
Yeah, just reopen the timer, then we'll be good.
Magmapeach is going to be streaming Discord.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm basically ready whenever you guys are.
Alright, just give me a countdown.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Yeah, he said you can give a countdown whenever you're ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1,
Alright.
go.
Welcome, Magma.
Hello. Welcome. All right, I guess. A little tired, but I'll survive.
It's fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm basically ready whenever you guys are.
Just give me a countdown.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Yeah, he said you can give a countdown whenever you're ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Cave Story. First thing to know about this game is I'm going to be pressing these keys a lot, so get used to the sound, I guess. Second thing to know is that you move a little faster in the air. It's not super important early on, but the reasoning behind it is very important later in the run. Coming up pretty shortly, I'll be getting my first weapon, and weapons are pretty interesting in this game. When you kill enemies, they drop Doritos, which give you experience for your weapon, whichever one you currently have equipped. And unsurprisingly, as you level up your weapons, they generally get stronger. There are some exceptions. There's one weapon in particular that we never want to level 3 in the speedrun. This weapon is not an exception, though. We want to get this gun to level 3 as fast as possible in the first actual area. For now, all there is to do really is wander around until we finally start playing the game for real. So... And by the way, this door, it'll kill you. Only door in the game that does this. Don't know why, but thankfully I defeated it. Now in this room, there's a fish. There is a boost you can do off the fish, but it's really precise, basically impossible. And I don't think anyone has ever actually measured how precise it is. I don't want to. Didn't get it. And so the fastest way to mash through text in this game is actually by mashing both the jump and the shoot buttons, because text will move faster if you're holding down either one of them, and you will advance the text box if you press either one of them. There's the first boss, got the quick kill. It's pretty tricky, but with practice you can get pretty consistent at it. And this is going to be the actual first boss in the game here, Balrog. The guy who kind of looks like a toaster, lunchbox, briefcase, whatever. Except, thankfully, you can just say, no, you don't want to fight him, and skip it. Pretty convenient if you ask me. And I had to go through all of that to make this guy get out of my way so I can go in here to get a key to finally access the teleporter that'll take me to the rest of the game. These mushrooms, they are not your friends, but they weren't too bad there. And unfortunately, in this game, it doesn't autosave, and if you ever die without saving, you start over at the very beginning of the game, so I'm going to be saving quite a bit. Because there are a lot of places in the game where one mistake will just kill you. And so this is Ed Corridor, one of the biggest reset points. You really, really want to get a lot of experience here. Parts are not optimal. And that was a pretty good start. So at level 2, this gun deals 2 damage per shot instead of 1. And it also has better range. And then at level 3 it'll be dealing 4 damage per shot, and even better range. And you can jump on these bugs to move yourself forward a little bit during this cutscene to save a bit of time. If you do mess it up and land on the left side of one of the bugs, they'll unfortunately take you all the way back to the beginning of this area though, so it's a little risky. I'll be picking up that life capsule there later. I'll be damage boosting for it, and right now I can't afford to take damage because when you take damage, you lose experience on whichever weapon you have equipped, and I really, really want level 3. And I probably don't need to, but I'll kill a few extra enemies here just to make sure. It's always nice having a little bit of extra experience anyway. Because that big bug drops a nice big Dorito sometimes, like he did there. Also, slowing down there makes dodging this guy a little easier. If he touches you, he deals 100 damage, which is always going to kill you. And here is the first boss that we actually have to fight, Igor. Thankfully, he doesn't have an active hitbox most of the time. He only does while he's doing his punching animation, so you can kind of just stand inside him most of the time and jump when he's punching. And there's just some lore here. She wants to hatch this egg, but she cannot.
Level 4.
Yeah, this game's full of it. For better or for worse. And so the way out of here is going to be mostly straightforward. Except I do want to grab that life capsule I passed up earlier. Now that I have maximum experience, I have a good buffer to take damage and not de-level. Thank you for the fish, BGW.
So a lot of fish.
I'm a big fan of all of those fish. And I guess something maybe worth mentioning is that along the way there was a room I passed up where I could have got the missile launcher, which is a weapon I do want, but it's really slow to grab it in there. Takes forever waiting for a super slow elevator that starts at a bad position, and you can get it later because there are several chests in the game that will either contain the missile launcher if you don't already have it, or just a missile ammo expansion if you do have it. There's one that will be much more in the way later. If there are any donations to go through, this would be a pretty good time. This is a pretty long sequence of cutscenes.
Sure. We do not have any donations right now,
Uh-oh.
which I'm faulting all the viewers of the chat right now. But just want to kind of plug a few things. We do have a pretty cool prize you can win if you donate $5 or more during this block, and this block lasts until Crotel renovations, which is like another 5 hours or so from now. So donate $5 or more, and you could be entered a chance to win the sick Yoshi's Island complete box copy. So pretty neat. Japanese version, of course. This is JRTA, so it's going to be Japanese. It's really cool. It's got really awesome artwork. And also, if you donate $25 or more in cumulative donations throughout the course of the event, you could win our grand prize, which is a sick Super Famicom, complete with console, cable, and all that, and your accessories, as well as Super Donkey Kong 1 through 3. So get your donations in. You know, I've been kind of bored the last hour. Nobody's donated. So please, give me something to do. Thank you.
What are you guys doing?
Exactly.
So I need to grab this key to let Santa over here, yes, that's his name, back into his house. Don't know why he was over there, but he dropped his key. And he is going to give me a new weapon, a pretty good weapon, the Fireball. At level 3 it'll be dealing, well, at level 2 and level 3 it'll be dealing 6 damage per shot, where this one does 4. But the range isn't so good. Travels fairly slowly. But for most bosses, for a while, I'll be using it instead. Of course, all weapons start at level 1, so I do need to level it up first. Thankfully, the terrain here is basically designed to make the Fireball really good, because it travels down slopes well. So you can level it up very quickly. Unless you get hit. Getting hit is generally bad. When you get hit, you lose an amount of experience equal to double the damage that you took. And for some reason, inspecting this fireplace makes Chaco here summon jellyfish into the world. They didn't exist before, but now they do. And we need them to exist. I can read it, Drac. I will try. So this big jelly is the important one. You get jellyfish juice from it. I'll need to be grabbing 2 of these. You're supposed to need 3 of them in total, but thankfully I can skip some backtracking to get the 3rd one. With basically the only real skip in the game, but it's a pretty good one. First one is just to grab some charcoal here that I'll be needing later. Just arbitrary required item. And I'll be taking a damage boost and trying to take a ride on this enemy to get up to this platform so that I can get to the jelly nice and quick. And that's the last time I'll need to kill him. So you're supposed to take the second jellyfish juice there and go back into Chaco's house, put out the fireplace, go through a passage, but I'm not going to do that. I'm instead gonna bounce a couple times off this bat and just jump over the house. Saves quite a bit of backtracking. So unfortunately, Kazuma is stuck in that house, and we need to get him out. The key that he gave us does not work, though. You do need to look at the door so that Quote knows to talk to this robot after this boss fight that I'm about to do, which is the first fight that I will be doing against Balrog. The second fight that you could do against Balrog, but this time you don't get to tell him, no, I don't want to fight. The fight is required, unfortunately. I think I just wasted about 0.2 seconds by saying yes to that instead of no. And thankfully you can kind of just stand on him. It's not a very hard fight. And conveniently, this robot was built to serve one purpose, and that purpose is making bombs, which is, well, very convenient. Unfortunately, we don't have all the items for that yet. We have 2 of them, though. This chest up here contains the missile launcher. This is where I will be grabbing it. It's actually not really a super useful weapon at first. It's much more useful after upgrading it later. And you do need to pick up the original missile launcher to be able to upgrade it. It is useful in a few places, though. Gonna damage boost off this bat that I lured all the way over here. And here is another fight against Balrog, except this time he's going to be a frog, because why not? Make sure to post frogs in the chat. This fight's either going to be a 3-round or a 4-round, and there's basically nothing I can do to control what I get. It's technically not random, but there's no way to control it in real time. And that was a very good first round. And that was a good enough second round to guarantee a 3-round. He has 300 health, so you need to deal at least 100 damage on average per round. And the minimum you'll ever deal is 93. So if you deal over 114 damage in one round, for example, you're guaranteed to get a 3-round. Over here, I'm gonna try to maintain the speed from this fan for quite a while. Kind of some foreshadowing there of what the run's gonna look like about 20 minutes from now. And now we have a bomb. Normally, turning on that machine over there turns on these fans, and that's how you're meant to get back here with more jellyfish juice without needing to extinguish the fireplace. But don't need to go back over there and kill the jellyfish, thankfully.
Alright. I'm glad the people answered my call because we have a $2 donation from Ed1 who says magmapeach is a god. Awoo.
Thanks for the awoo. By the way, what's the incentive looking like right now for the panties?
Your incentive has been met. You're getting those panties.
Alright, we're getting the panties. This is yet another unfortunate sequence of cutscenes. If only there were some way to skip them all. By the way, I don't think I brought this up, but those spikes that you see all over the place here, they do kill you in one shot. So generally not a good idea to go into them. So in the next area, I'll be upgrading the default gun that you get at the beginning of the game, the Polar Star. I'm going to be upgrading it to the machine gun. It's one of 3 guns that you can trade it in for. The machine gun is by far the most useful for the speedrun, though. Only partly because you get it so early. The other ones really just aren't too great in the speedrun. Although one of them is more useful for time attacking the special ending area of the game. This is Sand Zone, the place where all runs go to die.
Not this one.
Well, not this one, of course. Nothing's killing this one. This is the world record, of course. This is a little more difficult than it should be, but you can ride on that bug to save not much time at all. And here's Curly. She wants to kill you because she does not want to talk to you and figure out why you're actually here. Thankfully, she's a bit of a pushover. Fireballs are pretty good. And for some reason, she decides, hey, let's give you my gun. And we willingly accept it. The machine gun is definitely better than the Polar Star. It actually has auto-fire for one thing, which is very handy. Need to pick up this dog, one of many. The panties are also here. They are Curly's panties. Unfortunately, it's impossible to get over to them. There they are. I'm not very good at grabbing the panties. I'm inexperienced. So the machine gun has auto-fire, and it's also just stronger than the Polar Star. At level 1 it deals 2 damage, level 2 it deals 4, level 3 it deals 6, and it also lets you hover if you shoot downward at level 3, which is the big draw to the weapon for a speedrun. here's the main reason that I leveled up my missiles to level 2 earlier, shooting a couple of them at these guys, the angry fidget spinners. Kills them, and also kills the 10 or so smaller enemies that spawn when they die with the splash damage. Unfortunately, the machine gun takes a lot of experience to level up compared to my previous 2 weapons, so it'll be a little while before I have level 3. And here's Misery, who then leaves to let me fight Omega, who is another boss where you just press the button and he kind of dies. That was actually really dangerous there. If he lands on you, he deals... I don't even remember how much damage. Probably enough to kill me, though. I think it's 20. Normally I wouldn't kill these crocs here, but I do want to level up my machine gun. Unfortunately, getting hit there is not very helpful. Nice hearts. Okay, those were some classic sand zone drops right there. No Doritos when you need them. These skulls are really annoying enemies. They deal 8 damage when you hit them, which is always enough to make you lose level 3 machine gun when you have it. This is Jenka. She wants us to gather all of her dogs that she lost somehow. Some of them are in interesting places too. I really don't know what she's doing with her dogs. The machine gun experience is looking decent now, though. And there's level 3. Alright, thankfully I managed to grab that dog. A lot harder than it looked. And if you miss grabbing the dog, you can lose a lot of time. And here's the full power of the machine gun. Who needs to jump up those blocks? The machine gun's also going to help me out with moving a lot faster later in the run. Don't know why I'm saving right now, but I am. Here's one of the more creative places to have your dog. For some reason it's just hanging out in a chest over here. And after this there are only 2 more life capsules I'll be picking up. One of them is pretty soon, one of them is at the very end of the game. So I'm almost done gathering them, really. Maximum health you can have is 55, and I'll be ending the game at about 35. Please continue spamming dogs in the chat.
I like dogs.
You know, this is gonna get me some hate, but I think I'm more of a cat person. I do like these dogs, though.
I mean, I don't feel like it can go wrong either way.
Yeah, I think you're right. The only real crime is disliking either. So now there's just one more dog left, so yeah, the most dangerous one. And I'll be saving for it, because if something goes wrong, it'll be very, very bad to die. I'm actually not sure if I saved there. I might have accidentally said no. Hopefully we won't find out. The machine gun thankfully lets me skip some annoying platforming over here. Don't need to kill that enemy up above me there, which is really good, because he is a giant pain. Speaking of giant pains, these birds, not a fan. And here's the last dog. Don't know how it got over here, but here it is. Alright, got my experience back. Thankfully, you do get to fill up a buffer of experience even when you're already at the maximum level. So you can usually afford to take some damage on your weapons before they level down. And upon collecting the last dog, all of the other dogs are gone now. All of that worked for nothing. Normally, in a run, I would leave right there. Instead, because this is a marathon run, I'm going to be grabbing this. It's the life pot. It's a one-time use item that heals you to full health. It's going to be very helpful later in the run, probably. Because the end game is very, very dangerous. One room in particular that I'm sure anyone who has watched Cave Story runs is very familiar with. The unfortunate thing about talking to her to get the life pot, though, is you do have to return that last dog. You can just leave and take the dog with you. Oops. Don't like that I took that damage, but that's fine, maybe. Also, probably should have saved before this fight. It's a little dangerous. Here's Toriko from very early in the game. She is unfortunately going to be the boss. Also, this cutscene is very long. Uh-oh, chat's on to me.
Can't believe you're committing speedrun crimes right now.
So in a casual playthrough, this boss fight is pretty random, but it's actually very easy to control her patterns. She'll jump all the time as long as there are 4 fireballs on screen, or whenever a missile explodes. And here's the best weapon in the game, the blade. One of the very few weapons in the game that's actually good at level 1. So there's really no rush to level it up, although it is very nice to have level 2 for this upcoming area when I can. It's not really a big deal, mostly, if I don't get level 2 for it, though. The thing about the blade is, it deals a ton of damage per shot, but you can only have 1 bullet on screen at a time. And when I say bullet, I mean sword. It's been a while since I grabbed this. But thankfully, if you stand really close to enemies, you can just spam the blade like any other weapon. And the DPS is kind of insane. You'll be seeing that on the next boss I fight. Probably should have stayed back to grab those Doritos. Yeah, make sure to prepare your roach clips. That's a little unfortunate. Losing level 3 machine gun is no fun. It's not too much trouble to get it back. These guys do drop a lot of experience when they drop experience. Alright, here's a boss that's going to get kind of ruined, probably. And there's the blade. I'm loving this chat right now. Thank you, guys.
It's good chat.
This guy... that roach is always a problem, no matter what he does. Here's Monster X, a fight that is mostly waiting. Split into 2 phases. The first phase, he has these green things inside him that shoot bullets. Ideally, you destroy them all, which I did, to get to the next phase. If you don't manage to destroy them all in one round, you do need to do a second round of that phase, which is pretty unfortunate because, as you can see, it takes a lot of waiting between rounds. This is a questionable fight, but it's working. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be getting level 2 blade, as much as I would really like to. So level 1 blade deals 15 damage per shot, level 2 blade deals 18 damage per shot, but it actually deals it over 3 frames, 6 damage per frame. And so sometimes one level 2 blade will deal even more than 18 damage if it's hitting multiple things. I don't think I need to save as much as I was tempted to there. So this is the next fight with Balrog. The last one? Yeah, I think the last one. It's not going to be very long. Don't blink. Well, I shouldn't say that. It is possible to screw it up pretty bad. I did not screw it up.
Nice.
Now up next is the best and worst part of the run, Labyrinth M. By the way, here's the missile upgrade I was talking about earlier. Unfortunately, getting this upgrade resets them to level 1, so I need to level them up again. And they take a lot of experience to level up. I want them to be at level 2 by the end of this area. And the fan really helped me out there with the big Dorito. The Dorito of Legends. And there's level 2. I do want a little bit more of a buffer in case I take damage during the next boss fight. But for now, it's looking pretty good. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and take a little bit of extra time here to get some more experience on my machine gun too. And there it goes. Would have liked those Doritos, but probably not worth it. If I lose level 3 machine gun in this next fight, it's going to be very bad, though. It's going to cost me a lot of time. This boss is definitely one of the worst in the game, maybe the worst, depending on who you ask. You can get a quick kill, which saves like 18 or so seconds, but it's basically all luck. So we'll see how it goes. I shoot those missiles from off-screen, but there is actually something over there I need to hit to continue.
Alright, do you mind if I take a second to call out chat?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, chat. You've been having a good time. You've been watching this run. You've been enjoying it, right? It seems like everybody's enjoying it, having a good time. Why have I not seen more donations? I know the donations are out there. I know you guys can do it. You should do it. Thank you.
It would be nice to get some more donations.
Yeah.
So this fight is going to be core. I'm going to wait a little bit before starting the fight to manipulate the water cycle here. And yeah, I'll let the fight speak for itself. And that's exactly what I wanted. About halfway through the fight, the water rises above you, and you really, really want to kill Core before it comes back down over you, because after the fight, you need to drown. And so instead of having to start from full air, I get to start from like 30. You can also have lower if you dive into the water after the second round, but sometimes that doesn't end up working out so well. So I went with the safer way. Coming up next, after the dumbest fight in the game, is what used to be the dumbest trick in the game. It became a lot easier thanks to PPU, who discovered a pause buffering method for it. Definitely going to be taking this save. So there's an upward current that you aren't supposed to be able to fall through, but when you shoot upwards with the machine gun, you do get a little bit of downwards momentum, and if you shoot fast enough, you can make your way through it. Kind of like that. First try is pretty good. I can't believe it beat W. So here we're just going through some steps and finding some stuff to drain the water from Curly, who sacrificed herself to give us her air bubble. Requirement for the best ending. So coming up here is Ironhead, a boss stolen from Ika-chan, a game also made by Pixel, who made this game. If you beat him without taking damage, you actually get an item, but taking no damage during this fight in a speedrun is basically never going to happen ever. So no squid party, unfortunately. And coming up, the movement is going to get a lot more interesting because I'm going to get the Booster 2.0, which is a jetpack. It has fuel for 1 second of boosting in any of the 4 directions. And normally when you end the boost by either releasing the jump key or by just running out of fuel, it'll cut your speed in half, which is no good. But if you instead end your boost by touching the ground, you'll just start sliding to a halt as you normally would. So if you get off the ground quickly, you can keep most of your speed, and that's the plan. The machine gun is especially helpful for this. Known as machine boosting, because the cave story community is very creative. I'm going to take damage here to boost through these enemies that would otherwise kill me on contact. Boosting through that one-tile passageway there is actually pretty difficult. If you grab this missile expansion here, you can trigger a fight. It's actually possible to skip it, but I don't need the missiles anyway, so I'm not grabbing them. Not risking the fight, as easy as it is to skip it. And so the main way that you'll see me doing machine boosting is by boosting into the top corner of a block, which pushes you upwards onto it, and by also shooting downwards with the machine gun, so I have upwards momentum when I do land on it, so I immediately get off of it and only have to touch the ground for 1 frame. Right there I told Kazuma that yes, I will escape the island with him and get the bad ending, and then I just kind of leave him there because I don't actually want the bad ending, but it's faster. Just kind of leave him in the cold. This enemy right in front of this door here is probably the worst enemy in the game that isn't a boss. I'm supposed to talk to this guy, not jump over him. Makes him go fish up an item I need. Here's Curly again. She has lost all of her memories, unfortunately. And so the solution is to find a mushroom that somehow gets her memories back. Which is especially strange when you consider that she's a robot. We do want to go in this teleporter. Unfortunately, the first time you try to, this guy does not let you. He's not happy about you being here. Throws you in jail. Talking to this guy twice makes a block disappear so I can get out. Just some good old cave story magic. And in a moment I'm going to be doing, or attempting, the single worst machine boost in the game, and I didn't get it. It saves like half a second if you do, and it's the hardest one in the game probably. And now that guy's gone, because I guess he caught me once. I'm never going to try again. And coming up is another very annoying boss fight. Mapignon. He'll be jumping around a lot, and if he jumps towards me, it's very bad. If he jumps still, it's pretty good. If he jumps away from me, that's fine too. I just don't want him to jump at me, because I want to be able to focus on mashing instead of getting out of the way. You need to answer these prompts in a very specific order. He's trying to trick you. Then he tries to trick you again because you actually don't need this and you need to check it in your inventory to confirm that you don't need it so you can fight him. Also, I take that time to read the letter in my inventory, another requirement. So he's unfortunately immune to the blade and the missile launcher, so the machine gun is really your best bet for killing him, and that went very well, especially with the threading the needle between those two rocks. I did not want to go up there. I just want a boost. I just want a boost. That's all I want. It's not working out. Alright, and now we jam the mushroom in her mouth. And the game tries to trick you again. You need to talk to her a second time to get an item that's required for the best ending. And unfortunately, the game's about to take away my booster for a bit, so it's going to get very slow and very boring. Because for some reason she needs my booster so that she can make a rocket, but then I actually get the booster back, so maybe she didn't need it? I don't really know the lore.
Did you say you don't know the lore?
Yeah, I don't know the lore. I don't know if anyone does. Maybe not even Pixel himself.
Oh my god. This is a travesty.
She also needs me to grab some other random items like this broken sprinkler. Well, she doesn't need a broken one, but I can trade the broken one for a fixed one because these guys think I'm a Mimiga doing some farming work here. They aren't very smart.
Just a simple farmer, I can believe it.
Just ignore the machine gun.
Yeah.
I just wanted to kill that guy. Didn't need to, but I wanted to.
I have a very important question.
Alright.
Do your hands get hurt after running this game?
Not so much the hands, but usually my arms hurt enough that a second run isn't really viable.
Okay.
It's pretty rough.
Hurt.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressing the button in this game. This is the other item she needs to make her rocket. The controller. That's all that guy does. He just exists to give you that item. And conveniently, the game actually forces you to sleep and heal up here. So this heal doesn't actually cost me any time. This save does. It's very unlikely that anything will go wrong before the next save, which I will also use, but I haven't saved in a very long time, so I'm just going to. And now I get the booster back. Unfortunately, I need to re-equip it too, and hopefully catch up to this rocket that I activated before being able to boost up to it. These things do kill you if they hit you. Thankfully, the rocket is fairly well designed. And here's Final Cave. All my weapons are now at level 1. The goal here is level 3 machine gun and level 2 blade. Level 2 blade for bosses, level 3 machine gun just to save a little bit of time. Well, not getting the level 3 machine gun, I guess. It's not worth trying again to get it. It really doesn't save that much time, but it would have been nice. Nice bat. This is definitely a difficulty spike in the platforming in this game. That was pretty bad right there, though. Taking any damage here really is pretty bad. Everything deals a lot. Except for that wall. And there are a bunch of these enemies that will kill me, of course, as all the other ones would have. And I'm going to remember to save and heal up before these final, well, not quite final, bosses. Alright, I have a pretty decent buffer experience here. So the first one up here is Misery. She'll teleport around. She only takes a certain amount of damage per round. If she spawns in very specific positions, she will do a pattern where she'll shoot out some floating orbs, and while she's shooting those orbs, any damage you deal to her is actually ignored for the per round count, so you can skip some rounds. It doesn't look like that's going to be happening. Well, there's the attack, and there's some damage I didn't want to take. It's nothing drastic yet, though. 14 is pretty bad here, actually. You can heal after this fight, though, so as long as I survive this fight, everything should be fine. The Doctor also teleports around because these bosses were designed to be annoying. And then Phase 2 just deals a lot of damage and also dies very quickly to the blade. Yeah, so I could be using my life pot here, but it's not worth it. That was a pretty unfortunate loss of time, though. If I had more health, I could have tried to stay closer to him and just finish him off by mashing the blade some more, but oh well. Somewhat little-known little Easter egg here is you can get some hearts after that fight by talking to Choco twice. Tends to surprise people, because this boss rush is generally pretty difficult in a casual playthrough, and most people would definitely benefit from knowing about those hearts. And here's the core, back for revenge. This time it's a lot less random, but also a lot more dangerous. Oops. So the core won't open up until he's moving to the right, or I get rid of either Misery or Sue here. And I really don't want to do this here, but I don't really have a choice. Need to use that. Pray for a good tile room. So next up is Hell. If this were a normal ending speed run, I would be able to just basically finish the game here, move to the left, jump off the island, it's over. This is the best ending though, so that's not going to be happening. Need to go into yet another harder area, which is going to be pretty fun without the life pot. And yet again, the game's going to de-level all my weapons, but I think I'm at 0 experience on all of them anyway, so that's fine. And welcome to Hell. The goal here is to not die, and preferably get level 3 missiles. And to conserve missiles, I break these with my blade and then swap to missiles to get the experience on that. Here's Curly. I need to pick her up to go through here. And here's the worst room in the game, by far, not even close. These blocks are random, they deal 10 damage each. I don't have very much health. And if you slow down too much, a swarm of these guys shows up. They deal 5 damage each. And that was acceptable. Having 25 health there is fine by me. Shooting those missiles gets that timer out of the way early. And I really want level 3 missiles on the next experience capsule that I find, which I should be able to do. The game is dumping lore all over me right now, but I can't read it. There's the level 3 missiles, which lets me shoot some missiles through a tiny gap in the wall there to trigger the second timer while the first one's going down. That's something I shouldn't be doing in a marathon run, but I did it anyway. It's very dangerous with that spike there. And here's Heavy Press. This is a boss fight. You press the button and he dies. After killing him, touching him should kill you instantly, but you can take damage off of those other enemies that spawn and save a bit of time. And here's the final boss. 4 phases of varying degrees of press the button. They're a little more complicated than that, but that's generally how this is going to work. Thankfully, Curly is increasing my damage output quite a bit by being on my back. She shoots every time I do. I stand in a specific position after the first phase to get the second position to end in a specific position, so that I can just kind of sit in the middle and hope to not get hit out by a bat. I got hit out by a bat. So that's going to cost me at least 11 seconds, unfortunately. If you don't get hit out, you can destroy all of these eyes in the first cycle. Oh, should have gone for the missiles. Although I am pretty low. Yeah, 4 damage away. So there goes another 11 seconds, unfortunately. I would like a few more missiles. Oh, that's a few more missiles. Alright, I'm set. Just need to kind of wait around a bit right now. This phase is really weak to super missiles, so it's going to go by pretty quickly. There it goes. And... time. Now all there is a cutscene and some credits.
Yeah, nice run. Oh, you still have to get the. Did you get the panties?
Yeah, I got him.
Oh, okay. Totally missed that. Thank you for getting the panties. JRTA demanded it.
I would never forget the panties.
But is there anything of like significance to the panties?
No. It's just a little Easter egg hidden away.
Even better.
They don't serve any purpose. I don't think they change any dialogue or anything at all. They just take up an inventory slot.
Looks like your final time was 59:38.
Alright, that's not the best, but sub 1 is fine by me.
Pretty solid, I'd say. Yeah, any final shoutouts?
Shoutouts to Roach Clip.
Can concur.
And that's Cave Story.
Awesome. Well, magmapeach, thank you very much for the run. We appreciate it. Thank you for supporting JRTA.
Thanks for having me.
And coming up next is going to be a Ratty Riddy race. So stay tuned. We're going to have... Who are the runners again? We have Hakua and WSBSN. So stay tuned. We'll be switching to that. Give us a few minutes while we get set up for that. Okay, you're good to go whenever you...
Yeah, I don't know why I can't open.
You still not having any luck pulling it up?
Well, I have Flash. It's trying to load, and it's not loading. Would it just be easier if I just have both streams open?